Is what, Saturday, April 25th. Today it's we're at the Old Middle Ferry landing. Going to go across and see what we can find around Old Meridean and the ferry. Today it's about 45 degrees. A cold front came through and it's really a pretty comfortable day. And the river is in good shape today. And we've got a special guest along with us today. Who is that guy anyway?
I wonder.
What's his name?
Gus Almquist.
Where do you live, Gus?
Menominee.
Okay, and you brought along a little special tool or instrument along.
A little metal detector. We'll see if we can find anything underground. Yeah. Various artifacts, coins, whatever might happen to be there that gives us a good signal. Interesting expedition.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we find something.
Well, I'm sure hoping.
Yeah.
Find our way, if nothing else. Huh?
Yeah. Well, we're just about ready to launch. We're going to go right straight across the river here, and we'll see what we find. We'll see you on the other side.
Alright, we made it across the river. I'm just going to show you our view from on the island.
As long as that bank doesn't, I was thinking that.
As long as you keep trees on it, you'll be able to do it. Some bank, I think the chip wasn't flowing through the same channel for many years, so I think my wife didn't worry too much about it.
Alright, now here's a quick view of what it looks like now inside the island. And we're hopefully going to try to find any kind of remains of where the ferry would have been on the island. We're going to take a look just about now.
Well, we're kind of on the north end of Old Meridean and looking around, and basically it's pretty well overgrown with trees and brush right now, but of course 150 years ago it was, or 100 years ago, it was all logged off and there wasn't much of anything over here. But as we're looking kind of toward the east, there's the river over there. We find kind of indentations or sunken spots here and there, and we're thinking it could be some old basements, and Evan said he just found something, so I'll head over there right now.
Keep shoveling.
Yeah. Well, we just I think we just found a pretty good artifact here. It's the best thing we've found yet over here, and it's a piece of concrete. I don't know if it's a old floor or something, and it's quite large. Evan is working on it right now with a shovel. So I wonder what we've got here. This is the first, or the best piece of evidence or artifact that we have found yet as to where Old Meridean was. This is a site here. Okay, as Evan uncovers this concrete platform, we looked over here to the left a little bit, and here we find, it looks like an old well or kind of a square hole in the ground. That's a sure sign of some sort of a structure here. And then if we look behind a little bit, we'll see a pipe sticking out of the ground, which is another good sign. Okay, we're just west of the ferry landing and looking for some artifacts on Old Meridean. Previously, when we were here, we couldn't find anything. But Evan was looking around and he found something pretty significant here today. He found a slab, a concrete slab, which is about 20 by 20. And then toward one edge, we found another concrete structure in here, and I don't know, maybe this was an old well or just a little cellar where they kept their food cool. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's full of a lot of rubble. There's a lot of old brick in here, and there's glass. And a lot of pieces of metal here and some pieces of cast iron. Thinking maybe it was some kind of a stove, but we found this piece that says Climax BS Company. So I'll probably be able to look that up on the internet and find out what that was all about. Might have been some sort of manufacturer. Anyway, these pieces of metal are still here since about 1892 when the town was abandoned, so that's a long time. We found some still even has some sort of a covering on it, this white. Not sure what that is either. Found looks like an old tin cup. Another piece with, looks like enamel, the old kind of enamelware they used to have, but this is a piece from some sort of a appliance or something else, not sure. But it's pretty much looks like cast iron. Heavy metal, so it's endured for many years. This is again, like I said before, this is our first real evidence of Old Meridean, and we're really excited about this. Well, as we were walking, Evan and I were walking upriver toward the main sawmill on the island, we came across another type of a foundation here. This one looks like it's a sandstone. It's a little bit different. It's in fact, it's even kind of curved. So we're not sure what kind of a building would be involved with this. So this is actually our second significant artifact that we have found. So far, so we're really having a good day. Down here.
Alright, we just went a little further up the river, closer to where we know where the sawmill is. And I think Gus might have found all this metal here because he has it laid out. We've walked right by here before and have never seen anything, so he must have found some stuff here. I don't know what exactly all this is. I'll zoom in on it. Dad, do you have any idea?
Well, this may have gone around a barrel. Looks like a strapping that went around barrel to hold it together. It's kind of a taper, so you put it on a wooden barrel. I don't know. This is another piece of pretty substantial iron. Could have been part of the sawmill building or mechanism or the equipment inside the mill. So we've got some flat pieces here too. So there's some metal here. Piece of strap iron here. Yeah, looks like it would have come from an industrial plant. I don't think this is anything you'd find in a typical house.
Or farm.
Or a farm, right. It looks.
So you don't think it looks like machinery equipment?
No, it looks like some sort of industrial machinery is what I would think.
We're just down from where the sawmill is. So we think maybe it might just be leftover scraps. Now let's take a shot of the river here. Give you an idea of where we're at.
Well, we're upriver a little farther, and we're just looking around. Gus has got his metal detector. We're getting a lot of hits, metal hits, but there's probably just pieces of tin and stuff around here. But we're finding a lot of depressions or like holes here. Evan is standing in probably the deepest one right now. And there's more around here. Just kind of a bunch of them around this area. So I think we're kind of in the heart of the of Old Meridean. Take a look at another hole down here. These are probably old cellars or basements or something. And Gus is getting more hits over toward the river. So there's artifacts to be found out here. No question about it.
Right up over here, Gus. Yeah, that's part of the foundation. Something. Part of it, though. That ain't natural to the area.
But you got a hit though, huh? A metal hit?
Yeah, right here. Some of it maybe
Oh.
strapped.
Okay.
Yep. There she is. All yep. Oh, it goes all the way. Maybe keep poking. I think there's one right there.
It doesn't look like a rock that would be natural to the area.
Yeah.
Right.
Hauled all the way up out to there. Or out here. It's hard to tell. Oh, it's grown and stuff. But it's pretty much right below from where the mill was.
Well, we think this is the site of the main mill anyway. That picture that we showed in our presentation. Sure. Well, we've been to this site before and we found a lot of brick, and most of it says something about St. Louis. And here's a brick we found that actually says St. Louis Fire Brick Company. And here's another brick that part of it, and I'm sure this is the end of Louis, and then M, St. Louis, Missouri, and probably the name of the company here. I'm not sure what it is, but after talking together, here's another brick that's, don't know where that's from, but anyway, it's probably the same. I think that's St. Louis, Missouri on it. We talked, Evan and Gus and I talked, and we thought maybe this brick isn't the name of a company, but it actually, well, it is the name of a company, but it did come from St. Louis, Missouri. And that would have been before there were brickyards in this area. Because if this mill, first one, was built in the 50s, 60s, sometime in there probably wasn't any local brickyard. So we're thinking this brick came up from St. Louis, Missouri on the steamboats, delivered to the building site. Just found another piece of, looks like a type of a brick, and it also says St. Louis on it. And here we have one of the main footings of the sawmill. And this is where they use lime rock for a footing. This type of a footing has been used since the Middle Ages. This is before they used a concrete footing. So this is really, really old. This mill burned at least one time, but they used, I suppose, it just built on the same footings that were already there.
I just wanted to see a different angle of the base of the sawmill. A lot of rock, a lot of brick.
Another thing, another little tidbit here is, where did they get the sandstone rock? Well, I imagine there was probably a quarry locally. Where I don't know. Maybe Dunville or up that way. Maybe there were some quarries started back then. I'm not sure what. But anyway, this all had to be brought in because none of this is native or local stone. So it must have been quite a job hauling all this in.
Yeah.
There is. If you look closely, there is some cement grout used to hold the stone together. So there was some cement used in this foundation. But at the river comes around the corner and the current hits this bank, so this is slowly eroding away, and you can see the rock here, and it probably went out quite a few feet originally, but it's eroding back into the bank farther and farther. I was looking at one of these building stones or foundation stones and found these, those are kind of like chisel marks or something on it. Not sure if this was part of the quarrying process or what it was, but anyway, we want to show you what this looks like. It looks like little indentations all over this face of this stone. Well, we're standing next to the Chippewa River looking upstream. Up toward the right there is where Meridean Slough begins. And I'm standing right now looking over across the mainland. And I'm standing on the south footing of the old sawmill. That's pretty similar to the other one. Looks like it's probably about 6 feet or so deep. So it would, I'm sure it would be able to support quite a large structure. And the ferry was pretty big. So the sawmill sat along the river, so they had to pull the logs out of the river. And we're thinking or assuming that they held the logs upstream here in some sort of a corralling device. And then they would move them down in here with a current. and feed them into the sawmill. Earlier days they would raft the sawn lumber out of here, but but from around 1882 to 1892 the railroad spur came in here, and they're probably able to ship most of their finished product by rail. We hear some turkeys right now. Well, Evan thinks maybe he could have found the old road here. It's really tough, but we see a part of the ground here that looks a little bit unnatural, so it looks like it could possibly have been the road, because the road ran along the slough and the railroad ran farther inland. So this could possibly be the road that ran up to Old Meridean. So hard to see, it's full of brush, but best we can tell, this might be it. Okay, let me get you. What have you found, Evan?
Bunch of metal rods sticking out of the ground. Don't know exactly what they are, or what they're for, or anything.
How many are there?
5, 6, 7? Probably about 7 that we can see. That one there's got the most to it. Gives us any clue what it would have been. I have no idea.
And then we had a little bit toward the river, and we found that old sandstone foundation. Almost, and it's kind of curved. It almost looks like it could have been a silo, but I don't know. Who knows? You know, something was in this area, though. No doubt about it.
A lot of brick and stuff too.
A lot of holes.
Bumping holes over here.
Could have been basements or something. Over a little ways north of our last site, and Evan found some more metal and another possible building site.
Paint can? Paint can?
Syrup bucket. Could have been the other one.
Yeah, we see these depressions in here, and we always think there could have been a building here of some sort.
Really identify anything from.
Well, it's about 2:30, and we're ready to wind up our little trip today. Just a summary that we actually made some really good discoveries here on Old Meridean. We found some base where there were some structures, we're sure. Not quite sure what they were, but we knew there was buildings there and foundations, and so we did find some evidence of Old Meridean. Before we could find nothing, so we're really happy about what we discovered today. Now Gus is going to tell you what he thinks he accomplished today.
Oh, yeah. Well, we found there's a lot of metal under the surface. Most of it's probably flat iron of various types. Metal, we found some stovepipe and tin cans and things of that nature. So there's definitely a lot of metallic stuff under the surface, but as to what it is, because the nature of the way it sounded, we didn't do a lot of digging. So if somebody's got a lot of ambition, a lot of time, that'd be a good place to look. You could find some various artifacts.